What's up, everyone? It's your favorite health and fitness coach, and of course, the ultimate boss babe. I'm Carissa Atkins, and you are listening to Boss Up Babe podcast radio show. Whew. And today, you guys, I have an amazing guest. Her name is Cheri Dickmeyer, and she is from FitGirl Inc. And I brought Cheri on for a couple of reasons today. So, three reasons specifically. Reason number one is she's an amazing boss babe who is out there doing her thing, changing lives. She also runs an amazing organization called FitGirl Inc., which is one of my favorite nonprofits to support. So we are going to talk about, Fit Girl. We're going to talk about Cheri. We're going to talk about the mission. And then, of course, we are going to talk about the current bossing up moment that I am currently experiencing right now, which will give me the opportunity to help Cheri and all the girls over at Fit Girls. So with that, Cheri, thank you so much for being on today's show. Welcome to the Boss Up Babe radio show.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for asking me. Thank you. It's awesome.
Absolutely. It's an honor. It's an honor. And to think like 2 years ago, I was reaching out to you on LinkedIn saying, Girl, I love your mission. How can I get involved? Full circle here. I just kind of wanted to, before I get into your story and really a lot about Fit Girl that I want to get to, so I'll be mindful of our time. But, I just want to tell the audience and the listeners just a little bit about our history because I feel like out of all the guests that I've had on right now, like this interview is my one I've been so excited for all week. I'm like, is it time yet? Is it time yet? So the reason why I say Fit Girl is my favorite nonprofit is for a couple of reasons. So I mentioned earlier that, I was scrolling through LinkedIn like many of you ladies and I came across like this, this beautiful woman with a mission and a heart. And I read that in her message. And I can remember that sitting in my office back when I worked in marketing. And I reached out to her and I was like, hey girl, hey, right. With one of those cheesy messages, like I would love to connect with you. And that's how our story started. And we hopped on the phone. Do you remember that, Cheri?
I do. Yes.
Yeah. So we hopped on the phone. She told me a little bit about how I could get involved. And you guys all know if you're in the nonprofit industry, you're always looking for volunteers and people to help and donate. And you're like, yes, please come. And I said, how can I give my time? Right. I'm a speaker. I want to become a better speaker. I'm becoming a coach, but I'm doing it part-time. Like, how can I help the girls at Fit Girl? How can I help you? And she said, well, I'm hosting a vision board class. It's a goal setting class. And I've read your story. I think that would be awesome for you to come and talk to my girls. And I was like, heck to the yes, I'm all in. And so I brought my daughter and I had the most funnest time making a really amazing, cute little vision board out of wood. And I got to talk to the girls and I got to craft with my daughter. And more importantly, I actually got to meet Cheri in person. And that was really important to me. The second story where I came again with Fit Girl was the confidence workshop, which was one of my favorites because I love, as a coach, I help women lose weight and boss up. But what they get when they come out of my program is this unstoppable mindset and this amount of confidence that they have now like triggered and transformed from within. And they just feel unstoppable. And so for me to go and to be able to talk to teenagers, I was like, oh, this is the first time talking to like teens. I don't know how they're going to relate to me. And we got to talking about confidence. And then I had the most fun that day. I've never rock climbed. And she said, you stay with the girls and you rock climb. And I was like, okay, you ain't got to beg me to have a good time. So that's what I did. Right. And then 6 months later, I got the best opportunity out of all. Like, just thinking about it makes me want to tear up because I had so much fun. I got to be a camp counselor. And Cheri's actually in the heat, like literally the heat of a camping week. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But my experience as a camp counselor, like, I'd never done something like that before. She said, just come mentor the girls. It's all about connection and helping them, understand what health is and nutrition and how to build relationships and just be outside with these girls and no phones. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, like, how are these girls going to do it? but we did it and we had such a fun time. And my daughter built so many bonds, with some of those girls. They still Snapchat today. And it's just so cool to see that. I mean, it's been almost 2 years, but anyways, I just wanted to catch y'all up on, this Fit Girl alone. Like, the mission is beautiful. If you read it, it doesn't take a genius for you to be like, yes, I need to be involved. But to know that, like, me just helping and giving my time, it means the world to people like Cheri and to those girls, and the impact that leaves in a little girl's life, grows into teens and then a young adult. I mean, it's huge. It's a game changer. And we need more women like Cheri and more, nonprofits, in my opinion, that are doing this type of work with our young kids. So anyways, I've had so much fun with Fit Girl, and I came across this opportunity, right? And that just fell into my lap, like pretty much literally a couple months ago. And I can't wait to share about that later. But enough about me, enough about my experience. I want to hear from the amazing Cheri now. So Cheri, just tell me first off about you. Tell me about who you are as a person, and then we'll get into Fit Girl.
Yeah, you bet. Well, most importantly, I'm a mother with 2 daughters. We just celebrated last week my youngest graduation out of high school, so I shall be an empty nester soon. So that just aged me right there. But they're my world. They are absolutely my world. And 2 big reasons why I started Fit Girl when I did start it. I love being outdoors. Even in the heat. Today, 105 heat index doesn't bother me. Love the heat. It's tiring, but I love it. So I love outdoor sports. I love outdoor adventures. I love showing young girls that they can stay healthy and active without necessarily always participating in team sports or group sports. I love giving them the confidence to get out on a kayak for the first time or paddleboard. Because really, truly, over it's probably just been the last few years, women have really just started kind of venturing and forming hiking groups and stuff like that. So I'm all about that. And that is one of the reasons why I started Fit Girl as well. Here in Nebraska, Bennington, Nebraska, a small town outside of Omaha. Love it here. And, I'm all about my nonprofit, really. I mean, I love what I do. I love the nonprofit world. I love what I do, and I love working with these kids. So yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. I mean, I do have other interests and hobbies, but my girls and my nonprofit, my 2 biggest right now.
Isn't it like it forms like a third child? I have 2 kids too.
Absolutely.
You're like,
Yep.
it's my baby.
Yep.
Like, we spend probably more time as working mamas, on building these, these businesses, these nonprofits, doing impactful stuff in the world than we, also sometimes mom. And I think you bring up a really good point. You have to get your kids involved with what you're doing. So if you're out there and you're like, how do you, find that balance between the two? You got to get your kids involved. You get the family involved. I feel. What do you think? When you have a business and you're just trying to make it all balance out. Yeah. So what are your thoughts about that, Cheri? Like, what's the best way, do you think, when you're trying to balance out a very busy, business and nonprofit? What is the best way to kind of keep your family in the loop so that you're feeling like you're not, pulled in 1,000 different directions?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, my girls, I'm lucky because my girls want to help and they want to be part of Fit Girl. And children learn what they live. So for them to see this and for them to come to some of the events that I put together, like listening to you speak, amazing opportunities that a lot of young kids don't get to participate in. So I feel that they're very lucky that they have that. But that's actually where my service skills came from. And I didn't realize it when I was younger, but my parents did everything. They ran baseball fields, concession stands, helped at the church. I mean, everything. And I watched that. And it's just it's really funny. As I got older, I never said, oh, I'm going to be just like my mom and dad. I'm going to do all this service work. I never said that. I never said that. And then as I get older, I'm doing that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am my parents. So, which is great. I love my parents. Yeah. And I think that's how, they brought us into their world as well. So I learned that very young. Like this week, my youngest daughter, she is a camp counselor and she loves it. She's having fun and I love her being there. So that is one way. I think the other way too is just to have boundaries and know also when to shut things off, because when you're an entrepreneur or a small business owner or running a nonprofit in its early, stages, its infancy, you could work 70 hours a week. Very early. So you do have to, I think at the beginning, really be strict with those boundaries so that you can have that work-life balance. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know so many women strive for that. Great advice there. So I'm excited. I know all about your organization, but I want you to just tell me the mission of FitGirl, and then, why you decided, we kind of heard that earlier, but why you decided to start something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, prior to FitGirl, I had a health and wellness magazine here in Omaha here. It was called Complete Transformation Magazine. My background's in marketing, so I was actually going to different gyms. And back when I started this is when some of the boot camp gyms started becoming popular. Your Farrells, your Kosamas, some of those boot camp, or your 3 months, 6 months. So I started helping them market because it was a new concept back then. People didn't really understand what it was about. And I started learning and getting more involved in people's stories, people's life stories, where they, had lost a lot of weight or overcame addictions and stuff like that. And started putting a magazine together. And I just thought, this is phenomenal, the stories that people were sharing. But I saw a reoccurring theme in a lot of people. And that was, they were focusing solely on the physical aspect. And this was probably back in 2011. They were focusing on the physical and not the mental piece.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I caught that. I don't know. I lost a parent to cancer. And after my mom had passed away, I did a lot of research. And I know the mental component when you are, battling a disease or cancer or, anything, an addiction, the mental health is huge. So because I was doing a lot of research that helped, but I just kept seeing that over and over. And I kept asking, well, why don't we have behavioral therapists or psychologists at these gyms? Because, what I was seeing is people were losing the weight, in those 3-6 month boot camps, but then they were gaining it again.
Right.
So I thought, well, gosh, you know what? If children learn what they live, if we keep doing this, then our children are going to grow up this way as well. So I was talking to a friend about that, and she's like, and I was also telling her some of the things that were going on in my girls' world. Social media was starting to become a little bit bigger back then. My girls were in middle school at the time. And I started hearing them talk about, body shaming, basically. They didn't like who they were. And I said, well, why not? Well, my body, my physical appearance, my nose, it didn't matter if they were straight A students, cheerleaders, it was all how they looked. And I went, oh goodness. So my friend was like, you know what? You need to start a summer camp and just see what happens. Get the best trainers in Omaha. So back in 2015, I had 30 days to put together a summer camp. And I did. I took the best yoga instructors, the best trainers that I knew, just networked the heck out of Omaha, got them all. They're all like, let's go, let's do this. This sounds awesome. And within probably 15 days, we had 65 kids sign up. And we actually even had parents from Denver, Colorado and South Dakota drive into Omaha to be a part of it.
Oh my God. Yeah. I told you she was a boss babe, right? I told you she belongs on this show. Holy cow.
It was awesome. It was awesome. And I had all of the news stations there and our big paper. And after the word got out, everybody was like, you need to keep this going. And I'm like, okay. So I stopped the magazine and said, all right, this is where my heart is. This is what I need to keep doing. And that's how it started. So we empower young girls through physical fitness and sport, but we focus on 4 modules: the physical, the mental, the relational, and the nutritional. So every time we run a program or event, we're always making sure that we're touching on those 4 components.
So huge. Yeah, you mentioned that. And even in the health coaching field, like, I see a lot of women, they're like, oh, I just need help with nutrition. I'm like, actually, we need to touch on physical and mental, that mindset. If you don't believe you can achieve it, I promise you won't get there. And just all of these things, like even building my team of experts, I've got someone who really specializes in the deep subconscious work that sometimes needs to get done. I mean, when we think about getting fit and healthy, a lot of it is environmental, right? Which can go a long way. But at the end of the day, yeah, if you've got some deep rooted, limiting beliefs that are holding you back and like constantly self-sabotaging your results, and just there's so much information out there, it's overload. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I run a program that touches on all those exact things, plus some for older women, of course. So I love that you're doing this for young girls, just like I'm doing it for the us mamas out doing it. So I touched earlier on the camp, right? And I touched that. I told, that I'm like, you literally an hour and a half ago, you were running around with those kids. So tell me about just some of the different events that you host throughout the year.
Yeah, absolutely. So the summer camp is the biggest one. So we went from, in 2015, 65 kids to now we're doing 200 kids. And I think right now I have probably 75 kids on a wait list trying to get in. Yeah. So it's a very unique camp because it's a girls only. And the only reason I do that is because I do want girls to have a safe space where they feel they can talk about things that maybe sometimes they don't want to talk to their parents about, or some of their close friends, because these are girls from all over. So sometimes it's a little bit easier when you don't know the audience to actually be a little bit more vulnerable, because you won't see them again. So they kind of get it out and open. So yeah, we're doing the camps. We've got different themes that we do with the camps, and we always focus on, body positivity, self-respect, girl power, which you would love, Carissa. And we do themes around that, but then we also incorporate a lot of different physical fitness. So the girls get to do archery and kayaking and paddle boarding. We do bike riding. I have like 40 bikes that are brand new and helmets that the kids get a ride. Today we went fishing. A lot of outdoor sports, and the kids absolutely love it. It's a great time. And then outside of that, we do after school programs, as well as a spring and fall program for 8 to 10-year-olds that's called Empowerment Class. So really it's just a weekly 12-week program that takes them through the physical fitness piece. And I do hope some of them, if they do find something, because I work with the colleges here in Omaha, volleyball, basketball, soccer, we bring them in. And my goal is hopefully to have some of them participate in sports, but they also need to know that they don't have to be in sports to stay healthy. There's other things that they can do. We started also this year a 5K program. It's called Train Your Way to the Go Girl 5K. So
that's so cute.
It's so cool. There is a Omaha Run here in Omaha does a Go Girl 5K. It's just for women. And they decided a year and a half ago to give the proceeds to FitGirl. So I said, well, if they're going to do that, let's help these girls learn. So we have all these young girls ages 12 to 16 with 14 different mentors that are from all different backgrounds, professors, doctors, and they walk with the girls. And then we put them on this walk run training program over a 3-month period. So by the time the race starts, they're ready to go. Things like that, because you just got to find your fit. And I do get that from moms a lot, where girls struggle. They know they want to be healthy. They want to be active. They want to do something, because everybody, men or women, we want to be part of something. We all do. But moms will tell me, but she doesn't like, team sports, or she doesn't fit in here. So I try to offer a variety so that they can find something that gets them going. Because my big thing is, if it's boring, if they're not going to do it. I mean, really, if you're a teenager and you don't like it, you're not going to get up every morning and do it. So it's got to energize you, and it's got to be something fun. And that,
100%.
yeah, a big thing with Fit Girl is making it fun. Fit Girl has to be fun.
I love that. Find your fit.
You bet.
Hashtag that. I love it. Cool. Well, with every high, there's a low. And I truly believe that it's in the lows that we grow the most, right? We're like, okay, that failure kind of stung, but how do we learn? How do we can transform and just grow from that? So what has been the biggest struggle that you have faced while growing the organization, FitGirl Inc. itself?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what I'm going to tell you is a struggle with a lot of nonprofits. And that's always funding. What really surprised me, quite honestly, was that a lot of foundations, and hopefully this will change down the road as we start putting more emphasis on physical fitness and mental health. Obesity percentages in young kids are very high. I mean, how high do they have to go before we start doing something, especially in the schools? I am a positive person. So I think, I see a trend and it's going to get there, but it still isn't there yet. I know at least in the Midwest, it isn't there. So I was very surprised at how hard it would be to find funding to keep kids physically active and mentally healthy. That's been a big struggle. Yeah. We're a very unique program. So I thought, oh my gosh, there's nobody out there like this right now. So I should be getting all these dollars rolling in. That was, a big light bulb moment where no. Because there's, 200,000 other nonprofits going for the same dollars. So yeah. And just how many hats you have to wear when you start a nonprofit. I am the accountant, I am the marketing, I am the social media, I am the program director, I am the lesson plan person, I am the after school program, I am everything. Because when you don't have the funding, you're relying on volunteers to help you, and you can't necessarily give them those roles. So I wear many, many hats. But one thing we did do at the beginning that if someone was starting a nonprofit that we did well is we started with a fee-based program. Now that will, eliminate some people if they don't have the funding, and your programs are going to be less diverse, but you have to start somewhere. And we did not have funding at the beginning to start. So my whole thing though, as a single parent, is to make everything super affordable. And if someone can't pay, they can't pay. I let them in. You know what I mean? I have never, ever not let somebody come in to the program. But we also now are starting to get more dollars for those scholarships. My goal though, I would love to have everything free. I do not want to charge. And it's going to take a while to get there. But if we wouldn't have set the program up that way in the camps, we probably wouldn't be here today. So that was one thing, because there are a lot of nonprofits that rely 100% on funding, donations, and that's very hard. It's very hard.
Definitely. Well, we're going to come back to how people can, of course, help and donate. Obviously, we are boss babes, and we're always gotten our marketing hats on, don't we, Cheri?
That's right.
So let's flip it over. I'm going to actually flip my hat to the normal Carissa here, the non-entrepreneur, but just the woman that is out just doing her thing. And I'm on a pretty epic journey myself. I have been given an opportunity to help women all across the world boss up and get healthy. And if I can help support awesome organizations like FitGirl, then I am all about that, of course. So just a little backstory about, this epic journey that I'm on. I'm competing to be featured on the cover of Muscle and Fitness Hers magazine, which would give me the title of Miss Health and Fitness for 2021. And the cherry on top of the cake is, of course, is that I would win $20,000. And this competition does begin on Monday. So that's exciting. And if you're catching this past Monday, because who knows what Monday is, the competition starts on June 14th. Now with this competition, It's not like a who's in better shape competition necessarily. It's not based on our bodies. It's based on what we submitted back about, probably 12, 13 weeks ago. And I'll get to a little bit more about that because I think it's important, just like it's important for you guys to hear Cheri's story on how she got started and where FitGirl started and where she's kind of ended up and where she's going. But I have to get through 6 rounds of voting. So that I can really help donate and give to Cheri and to just make this impact that is my mission. It's my purpose in life to help women boss up and get healthy. So 6 rounds. And I know with the help of everyone who's listening today, even if just every single person just votes, that would probably put me at least through round 4 for sure. So really quickly, a little bit about me, right? I'm a mom. I'm a wife. My husband's active duty military, and we are stationed here currently in New Mexico. And I am from Omaha, Nebraska, which is obviously how I met Cheri. But me and my team of experts, we help women lose weight. We help them double their energy, and we help them feel sexy and confident in their bodies without dieting and without all the insane workouts, and most importantly, without all the guilt motivation. I think there's a lot of moms that will guilt them and guilt themselves into a workout, or they feel guilty when they eat quote unquote bad food, so they go work out, or all of these things. So really, I help women achieve their body goals. I help women improve their relationships with nutrition and exercise, but most importantly, I help them transform from within. I think I mentioned that earlier. And that's the magical piece. That's the piece that you can't buy at the store. You can't buy a supplement or a container and take a scoop of it every day. You can't buy self-love. Like, you can't buy happiness. That is something that has to come from within. And sometimes we do need to change our physical appearance so that we can let that awesome inner queen just kind of come out and rise to the top. And that just is what lights my fire up, because I know when I'm healthy, everything in my life just seems way, way easier. And I will tell you that all day long. So really quickly though, I think yes, what you see is a fit chick, right? You see someone who's dedicated, but I wasn't always fit. I wasn't always confident. I wasn't always a kick butt coach. In fact, 11 years ago, I was just the opposite. I was 213 pounds, and y'all, I'm 5 foot tall. So that put me in the big old obese category, which is definitely crazy to think that I was there. But I was unhappy. I was depressed, and I didn't believe in myself. My relationship with food and exercise and stress was terrible. I mean, I stressed about everything. And then what did I do when I stressed? I turned to food and booze and cigarettes and more work to keep my mind off of how I felt on the inside. Y'all, I had no love for myself. I felt broken, and I felt very, very alone a lot of in my 20s. However, right, with any low comes a high. And one day I got some hard to hear truth, followed by a major aha life moment, like a slap you across the face type moment. And from that day on, I decided to boss up and become the best version of me, for me, more importantly, not for anybody else. But I realized that I was worth it, right? I was worth taking care of. I was worth the effort that I was putting in, with the work, with the workouts and the food. And over time, right? One day, one habit, 1 pound, one meal, everything I did was I took everything 1% at a time. And I'm telling y'all, if I can do it, anyone can do it. I was the laziest mom on the planet, smoked 2 packs a day, drank 2 bottles of wine on top of it. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. And you don't need fancy gym equipment. You don't need a nutritionist. You don't need, I would love to say you don't even need to hire a coach, but a lot of people do, but you don't need that. You just need to find your why and your motivation for wanting to change, and everything else will just be upgraded once you do. So if you're interested in hearing like my full story on the different things that I did, I want you to go back and rewatch and re-listen to some of my earlier episodes. I really dig into that. But I thought I would share with you, with kind of like the remainder of our time, was when I entered this competition about 12 weeks ago, I submitted it, right? And in that submission, at first I was like, I'm not worth this. I can't do this. And then the boss up hat came on, and I was like, girl, go for it, right? Just play big, live outside your comfort zones and do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? I don't get a response. Who cares? That's what I thought. So 6 weeks ago, I got a text and it said, you're in it. Prepare, get ready, hype it up, do all these cool things. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So, y'all, I'm in this competition, and I don't think it's because I have a Fit Pro card or all these other awesome things behind me. I think what got me in this competition is the fact that I realize it's not about me. It's about impacting everybody else. It's about helping women who don't feel that, that they can do it alone. And it's my comeback story. It's the true, like, I felt defeated, and now I feel like there's nothing I can't do right now, you guys. I am on top of the world. But one of the really cool, unique questions that they asked me in this whole process, the question was, if you were the next Miss Health and Fitness, what would you do with 20K? It didn't say which nonprofit you're going to give it to. It didn't say what, it didn't say anything about it. It just said, what would you do with it? And immediately, as soon as I see, what are you going to do with it? I'm literally texting FitGirl Inc, capital F, capital G, like all of these things. And I realized, I'm like, I have this nonprofit. It means a lot to me to support these young girls, support Cheri's dream, but yeah, more importantly, the girls, right? Because I see that the effects long term when I work with these women. So, this competition, like I said, it's not about me. It's about anyone who opens up this magazine that sees me and that reads my story and that is like, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it, right? I want anyone who listens to this and they're like, you know what, I'm going to support the girl that supports all the other little girls. Like, that is why I'm doing it, you guys. And that is why I am just, I'm campaigning and I'm asking for your vote right now, is so that I can turn that check around and I can give Cheri 3,000, if not more, because I want every girl to go to camp next year, right? Without having to say, I can't afford that, because I've been there. I've been broke and I've been sleeping on my best friend's couch. And let me tell you, it sucks asking for a handout for your kids, but you know what? I did it. I've done it. Cheri's helped me. And now it's my chance to give back. So that's what I want to do, right? I want to do that for this organization. And then one more thing, because I feel like I have to mention it while we've got so many people listening, is, it's not just about a competition. It's about how we can always give back to organizations that do need us. But like I said, since Fit Girl's my favorite and it definitely pulls on my heart, I've also teamed up with One Hope to have a huge give back for Fit Girl. So I don't necessarily drink a ton of wine, but Cheri and I, of course, have partnered with One Hope, and we have a fun event. It's an online, I've never done an online fundraising wine tasting event. So I said, why not? Let's do it. I met an amazing gal named Amy while I was speaking on Clubhouse. This is the power of connection. Remember when Cheri said, like, we use our connections where we can. And Amy reached out and she said, hey, do you have a nonprofit that you absolutely love? I said, heck yeah, right? And she said, okay, let's do this event. And I'm like, as long as you plan it, I'm in it, right? I'll invite everyone I know. And I'll even order my sampler pack and try them all with you. So we have a really fun online. So anyone around the country that's listening today can literally join this wine tasting event. It'll be online. It's coming up in July, so more details to come. But I just want you guys to know that that is out there. I was looking for the name of it, but I'll find it, you guys, and put it in the show notes regardless. So Cheri, just to kind of like hearing all of this, what would be, because I'm a boss babe that likes to help other bosses. And I know you gave us a little bit of advice a little earlier about, if you're starting a nonprofit, consider doing some sort of, membership base, like to get you started. But what would be the next big tip that you could give for anyone who either wants to start or someone who's in it? I mean, we've all had a tough year. So what would be a good tip that someone could take from you today?
Yeah, absolutely. And Carissa, you have an amazing story. You have the biggest heart in the world. And I think your vulnerability is what attracts a lot of people, because there's not a lot that will freely get up and tell their past story, because sometimes ego gets in the way. And when you do that and you are vulnerable, you are impacting so many lives. So I love you, girl. You're great.
Yeah.
So, I think the biggest thing, and maybe this is more from my marketing brain, but find a solution to a problem. You find something that nobody else is working on, that you can get passionate about, that you can help others with. And just be sure to have, I see, especially on TikTok, a lot of young entrepreneurs that want it now. You great if you get it now, but you do have to, relationships are key. You have to establish those relationships, get people to, because really they are buying into you, not what you're doing. If they like you, they're going to support you. So those relationships are key. They are key to success with it, whether it's a nonprofit or a small business, what have you. But I think offer a solution to a problem. I see that kind of as the trend too, because I do see a lot of really smart entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, seeing that and taking that path. And I love that. I think that's great. We need more of that. But yeah, definitely that. And then make sure that you are going to commit to the long haul, because it isn't an overnight thing. You have to be patient. You have to put in the long hours. I wish there weren't long hours, but when you're working on your own, there's some long hours. And have boundaries. Take care of your health. That's the one thing, at the beginning, I was not doing. Some of the things you were saying that you weren't doing, I was not taking care of my health. I was burning out. I had headaches all the time. And I just said, whoa, wait a minute. I am doing this FitGirl nonprofit, trying to teach these girls to take care of their health, and I'm not taking care of myself.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Exactly. So it's self-awareness, Carissa. You know what I mean? Just stopping and going, okay, I need to stop and create new habits. So instead of doing this at night or this in the morning, I'm going to do this. And, after 7 days, after 14 days, then it becomes a new habit.
Sure.
So yeah,
That's brilliant. And I would say, and if I had to leave any advice, it would be the same thing, right? Like if you're someone who's looking to lose weight and get into shape and just be a better version of you, no matter what that looks like, because sometimes it's not about losing weight. Sometimes you need to gain it. There's so many different things. But when it comes to your goals, right, it's not just about that destination. You've got to enjoy the process, or it's not fun. And we don't do things that are not fun. We don't do things that get boring or stagnant in business. Like we're like, next thing. So that advice, I think, is across the board and a golden nugget, a game changer. If you're listening, write that one down. I will, of course, put all of Cheri's tips in the show notes so that you could be like, oh yeah, that's a great advice. So with that, Cheri, thank you so much for being on the show. I can't wait to just keep collaborating and with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Carissa. Yeah, good luck to you. This is going to be fun to watch. I love it. I love it. I can't wait. So good luck to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That'll be a great day for me to fly to Omaha and give you a check.
You bet. You bet.
All right, y'all, ladies, boss babe, queens and mamas. I hope you enjoyed today's Boss Up Babe episode. Voting starts on Monday, June 14th. And as long as I stay in the race, it goes all the way until August 4th. And I would love it if you voted daily for me. Cheri, I did forget to ask one question. And of course, I'm going to drop it in the notes. Where can people find, what's the best place for people to go to either donate straight to you or learn more about your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a website. It's FitGirl Inc. With the INC, not K. So fitgirlinc.com. And then at the very top on the homepage, there's a donate button. And it goes straight to a PayPal link. Thank you for
the easy button. Donate today. All right. And of course, I'll put the donation link in the show. If you're looking for an amazing coach with an amazing story, with an amazing art, you can always find me at 365dailyhustle.com, or just shoot me a friend request. I'll probably say yes until I hit my 5K limit. And let's connect on some way. Y'all remember to boss up and live your best life.